It is Tuesday. It feels like a Thursday, and not in a good way. And we are working on Noble Dwarfs Lightharbor, episode 2. You know, I actually, I want to get, like, starting credits and ending credits going on. You know what I'm saying? And the starting credits is an indicator that within 30 seconds or whatever the stream's about to start. But it also tells you about the project a little bit. And ending credits for giggles. I don't know. I kind of need to do that. There's a lot I want to do with the channel. But here we are. This is episode DOS. And we are early days with this map. And I need to decide what the next thing is I'm going to do. Normally now, I would mark out my major roads. Why? Because hills and things like that are going to be, to a degree, dictated by them. Not that a road, so, you know, just put there and the hill goes, oh shit, sorry mate, I'll just get over here. That's not how it works. But this map is going to be very hilly. I'm going to let the roads that the city has kind of dictate where they will port, so therefore there was a hill somewhere else, if that makes sense. It will also help me understand where the bridges need to be. And I think I'm actually going to bring the scale onto the map, and we're going to start trying to figure out some things, such as our docks, if I need to narrow down the river a little bit, you know, that type of stuff. I would normally also work on the coastline a little bit, which we might do today, and maybe the breakwater. So this is kind of where my head's at, is getting some of that down. So let's just dive in. And Edge Marion is in the house. Hi, Edge. Alright. So let's decide what we're going to do next. I've got this, the notes from the client right here. Noble Dwarf. I want to actually just move this up a little bit. Because I think this has got a scale on it. It does. Alright, well I'm gonna copy that real quick. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe it. And we'll paste that there, and we'll bring this up. I actually hope Noble Dwarf joins us today, because I don't know if I believe that thing. Alright, and then I'm gonna actually just move this map back. I should have made a note where it was. Oopsie. My bad. Although, actually, hold on. You can't get it. Alright. So I've got that. I can now hide this. I don't know if that's meters or feet. I assume it's feet. I definitely assume it's not miles. Is it yards? Furlongs. Yonks. Belt straps. Boot twizzles. Acres. Hectares. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming feet. 500 feet. Dash machine is here. Is that a bridge or a gate across the river? Were you not in my stream last night, sir? Were you not in my stream? You should know what that was. I'll give you a clue. Constantinople. You're a bright guy. You're very learned on the history front. Constantinople. What could that be? And actually, I see Noble Dwarf has joined, so I'm going to actually wait for him. Because if that scale bar is correct, I don't know if any of the buildings before were actually sized correctly. So I want to know more about that up there. I have questions. Come on, Das. What is it? What is it? Come on. Constantinople. 2 towers standing like kings opposite the river. What could they possibly be used for? Hey, Miss J! Good to see you, girl. I'll even give you a little clue here. Well, you know I'm going to do it now. Yeah, okay. Not that Constantinople did this, but... And I really, Miss J's going to be sitting there going, girl, you do your roof details on a separate layer. I've told you before. But just a little bit. God, that's what is it? And Noble, if you're out there, talk to me. You're probably watching ads or something. Alright, let's do roads. Let's mark out some roads. The roads are going to be El Ruffo. And so we'll probably actually give it quite a bit of opacity. Das machine, okay. Don't know the word for it. The chain! I knew you would know it! I knew you would know it! That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. I actually drew just the 2 towers. And then someone in the stream last night, it was Princess, suggested doing a walkway between them. And then when we did a walkway, we were like, that's kind of a big expanse not to have some, like, support in the center. And I started picturing, like, being on a ship and coming, like, towards the river mouth and, like, seeing this big walkway with these big towers either side and maybe 2 arches, right? 2 big arches and a center fortification. I'm like, I can see that. I can see that in my mind's eye. So that's what we ended up drawing at the last minute. And so we've got 2 towers and we're going to have them almost buttressed down to the ground a little bit, just to help support that chain. And yeah, something like that. Maybe the chain actually spans from tower to tower, tower to tower. You know, something like that. And murder holes down below. I don't know if other places did it. I've only ever heard of Constantinople doing it. What a cool idea that is, huh? It's one of those simple and ingenious things that I love about history. They have this massive river. They have ships that can come down. How do they protect that? Chain. A chain. And they pull the chain and it stops the boats. I mean, it's... Like, ancient man just didn't say no. Like, someone went, well, we could have a chain. And, like, everyone would go, that's a good idea. We should do that. All right, let's do it. I need 1,000 feet of chain with 1 foot links. And they just did it. No one was like, how are we going to do that? How are we going to wrap this chain up? How are we going to pull the chain taut? They didn't think like that. They were like, let's do it. I love that about them. Noble Dwarf is here. Meters, okay. Well, that's what we're going to explore. That's what we're going to explore. I want to slap a scale on this tonight, okay? Because it's going to determine some of the things we're going to do. Hey, Mr. Bell. Yeah, if you can't find Miss J on Instagram, let me know. I'll send you a link, okay? In fact, if you remind me tonight, I'll actually bring up some of her work. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. If this is meters, we're not working in meters. What are you doing, noble dwarf? Fantasy maps aren't in meters. No one works in meters. Bally Europeans. Meters is too modern. You do it hectares or furlongs. Barrel yokes. There's 1,000 barrel yokes. That's what you're doing. Come on, man. Make up your unit measurements. And the reason why I bring this up, right? The reason why I bring this up is there's the previous map. Let's do a little bit of just reverse engineering here. Alright, if that is 500 meters, then stands to reason that this is 250, right? 250 meters, so what we're looking at, like 125, about 60 meters, so we've got about 30 meters. 30 meters is 90 feet, right? So that gives us and maybe this is good, by the way. Maybe this is good, but let's find out. Let's find out if we like it. So this is 30 meters. Right there. Almost 30 meters, 30 feet. No, 30 meters. 30 meters. No, 90. No, 30. 90 feet. That's 90 feet. Gee, confusing myself. All of this talk of barrel furlong bootstraps. This is 90 feet right there. That's pretty big. Which means this building here is about 10 feet wide. Like, that's about 10 feet. Maybe less. This one right there is what, about 15 feet. And this one is maybe 20. And also, the other reason why I'm bringing this up is if this is 30 feet, that probably puts our river, well, actually, I think our river's going to be about 360, 370. Our river's about 400 feet across. That's not bad, right? I mean, that's a decent river, but that's not a huge river. That's not like... How wide's the Thames? How wide's the Thames? Hey, Diablo's here. Dwarven hammers. Now you're talking. Now you're talking. Meters don't make much more sense. Dwarven hammers make sense, girl. Now, look, I grew up with meters. But I've been in the United States long enough where they now confuse me. Well, no, they don't. They don't. But meters don't feel... Meters are good for a modern map. Meters are no good for an ancient European map. Or fantasy, you know, high fantasy map. What am I doing? Width of the Thames. Width of Thames. Dwarven hamsters. This here is 300 dwarven hamsters. Not the black ones. The red ones or the black and white ones. There's a difference? Oh, yes, boy. Yes, there's a difference. That's why your measurements are off, you see. Alright, the line on... the width of the River Thames varies from 60 feet at Lacklade to what? Come on. Go on, width. It can't be that hard to find the width of a river. Don't say 60 feet to 18 miles. That doesn't help me. You can't say the width of a river is 18 miles. That can't be right. This is meant to be the learning channel. What have we got? Facts about the River Thames. There is 23 feet difference between the low and high tide. Doesn't matter. Moving on. Come on. Alright, someone else give me a major river. Oh, the Rhine. Must be topical here. Width of Rhine. The river Rhine, now flows north as Upper Rhine through the Upper Rhine Plain, which is about, oh no, that must be the plain, 40 kilometers wide. I'm like, that's not a river. No, that's an ocean. Come on. How is it that hard to find the width of a typical river? Someone help me out. Break out the Google Fu. Come on. Width of the Rhine or width of the Thames. I'm trying to determine if our river is too wide or not. Mississippi. Come on. Width of the river Mississippi. I'm gonna do it right now. Width of Mississippi. Between... Alright, at the lake it's 20 to 30 feet wide. That's narrow. That's like my living room. Oh, that's this narrowest stretch for the entire length. Well, give me the widest stretch. I don't want length. We're not doing river length. I want width. Come on, guys. I want width. This is a battle. Oh, let's spell width correctly. The widest point is a mile. It's a mile wide. What's that, about 3,600 feet or something? I don't know. Alright, so I think we're fine. Noble, if you're good with it, I'm good with it. I don't think that the river's going to be too wide for your purposes. I don't know exactly what the width is going to be here. We're going to decide on the scale. This scale may not be too far off. It may not be too far off. But some of the buildings are going to have to change. Like, if we said that this was 30 feet or something, then that means a small building would be about that size. Well, if that's 30 feet... No, 90 feet. God damn it. 90 feet. That's a medium-sized building. So that would mean... This is 3,000. This is 3,000 feet. I don't know if that actually tells us anything. 3,000, that would make the city in about 3,500 feet. I don't know, this doesn't feel like a bad scale. Hey, so good. Evening. Diablo, thank you. I knew I was way off. I knew it. Noble just said I'm the expert. Now I think, so, you know what? Actually, hold on. This is a metropolis, right? So hold on. There's something bugging me about this scale. Alright, so... Miss J actually just said, Westminster Bridge is 850 feet long. 850 feet would be... Let's just get that down first. That would actually be not far off this. That's actually not far off this. So... our river is slightly narrower than the Thames. And I think that's okay. I think that's okay. It's not too wide, in other words. Not yet if we stick with this scale. Like Rome, so Rome was like 7 square miles, right? Ish. Oh, now I'm doing math. Now I'm doing math. So why do I care about that? What would that be? Let's just say 2.5 miles by 2.5 miles is Rome. Right? Ish? 2.5 miles. 2.5 mile. Well, yeah, 2.5 miles, according to Diablo, is 10,000 feet. That's why I cared about that. 10,000 feet. This is 1,500, right? Ish. This is 3,000. I think it's about 3 feet to the meter, right? Which means that we're literally talking about, like, Rome. Oh, actually, this may not be far off. Where are you? So this. Tell me I'm wrong. No, this is way smaller than Rome. Because 5,000 feet. That's 3,000 right here. Which probably puts, what, the 1 mile mark to about here-ish? This is smaller than Rome. So, I guess dwarves, noble dwarves. Rome wasn't exactly a small place. Is this place like a little bit smaller than ancient Rome? Or what? If we do, let's get rid of that. If we do, let's say, half the size of Rome, I think you're looking at buildings that are, let's say, you know, maybe type of size. And if we're dealing with a large one, like this. But otherwise, we're kind of dealing with a lot of, like, this type of stuff, I think. If we're talking that you want this to look like Rome, I think we're going to be down like this. And I'm happy to do either, but just to manage your expectations. The alternative is, we could do something like this, and then suggest, like, smaller buildings within it, type of deal. But colour the block like that. Mystery, I don't get that definition. Calling someone an expert is a bit rude. Expert. Oh, expert. Get out. Get out. Go. Get yourself a bagel, Miss G. This is a human city, and that scale wasn't important. I'd say double the scale measure to make more sense. A 10-foot wide building doesn't make... No, we're not doing 10-foot wide buildings. And by the way, we're not copying that. We're going to take the spirit of that, but we're not copying it. I guess we're trying to decide, like, the inner city. How wide is the inner city? I'd like for the inner city to be at least a mile, right? 5,000 feet. That's what I'm kind of thinking about. Am I thinking about that right? larger buildings. Alright, and I agree, and they don't have to be quite this large, but the larger the building, the more colouring and detail we can do on them. And the more this will sort of stand out. This is the only problem when you do a metropolis. It's like imagine if I draw Rome. If I draw Rome, I am going to have to draw it poster-sized. Period. I'm thinking our scale. Let's decide what our scale is. I feel like this is just going to be important later on, you know? I feel like it's dictating a few things for us. Now, all of that's obviously approximate. So what that means is that's 0, and we're just making something up now. We're literally gonna make up our scale right here and now. I don't think that is a bad scale. Like if we do. That I actually do not. I probably have it in a book somewhere, but I don't. I'm not actually that strong on the Republic. But I'll be honest with you, this map has nothing to do with Rome. Okay, I was just using that to try and get an idea of a metropolis in my head. I'd actually be curious about what was the size of Constantinople, to be honest with you. Like, was Constantinople the size of Rome? In its heart, probably not, right? Now the reason why I'm doing this... Oh, did I draw my buildings over there? I did draw my buildings there. Hold on a sec. These are throwaway buildings. We're going to get rid of them. And we're going to go to you. So, for starters... Right. What sort of size do we want to draw these buildings at? In this town of ours, in this city of ours, this metropolis of ours. I'm thinking, like, this is the largest one. I'm thinking that this is a big building. I'm kind of feeling... Oh, that's a thick ink. That's what I'm feeling. What if our buildings were... I think that's a large building right there. Could we actually get in and zoom in on this? Could we like get like some details in there? You see that? I don't think that that's going to feel like a metropolis, you know what I'm saying? I don't think we should go any smaller than that. That, I think, would feel like a metropolis. Ah, okay, thank you, So Good, for that. So Constantinople was 2 square miles. I think that this is going to be similar to Constantinople in size. That makes me feel pretty good. That makes me feel good. It certainly makes the towers look a lot smaller. Well, we're going to take a look at that right now. This is one reason why I wanted to get the scale dialed in. Hey, Papa, I can see you. Alright. So, if our scale... In fact, let's rotate my map. And let's take my scale. So on our scale, originally, if that, so this is what, if that was 3,000 square feet, so this was, actually let's draw them in. Let's draw them in. So we've got 1,500, we've got 3,000, which means that this is... So what is this? Well, this is an awkward measurement. That's what this is. So what is the difference between 1,500 to 750? So, oh, what is that? Math. So 2,250? Right, what's half of 750? 375? No, 325? 375? 375. Right? I think. What's half of 375? 15167? So that must be 83-ish. Why did I do that? So that means that this distance 1, 2 is so that's 4,500 there. Plus 750 puts the 5,250 mark here. That's our 1 mile. So this is going to be of a similar size to Constantinople, especially when we think about the sprawl of the outside area. So I can actually get rid of... I'm going to get rid of this. This is going to be a scale bar we're going to keep coming back to just while we're laying things out. Like with the roads and everything, right? So if I've got my math correct... That means a building of, let's say, that size right there is less than 80 feet, right? There's about 80 feet dead on. 80 feet seems like a pretty good size for a stout building, but not a huge building. Like, temples might be bigger than that. That's about 80 feet. That means our smallest one is about 40 feet.
A shrubbery! A what?
And our little tiny dots right there. Hey, King Bashman's in the house! Alright, which means these here are of a decent large building size. These here, that's actually not a bad small building. These are like 20 feet frontage. We would do nothing smaller than that. That's like a shed. I think that scale could work. I think that scale could work. Right there. Ish. When we draw the actual proper scale bar, obviously we're going to make this look a lot prettier. But also we'll kind of round off some of the numbers a little bit. So that means our city is... It's going to be more than a mile with sprawl. And probably about a mile with sprawl. I think that's Constantinople-like. The map has changed. Diablo says, what's your favourite part of Roman history? Random question, feel free to answer when you feel you have the chance. Won't interrupt the mathing. Well, I got the mathing done. I feel like a break. I need to rest my brain. Favourite part of Roman history? Alright, I got my answer. The death of Augustus. I loved Augustus, by the way, and I know historians don't, but I liked Augustus. Probably everything that happens after Augustus for the next 80 years. So we're talking early imperial period. We're talking like the 1st century AD, right? That type of time frame. Maybe up to 120, 130 AD. Maybe. Why do I like it? The period of the late Republic is overdone. Everyone likes that. Everyone likes the Caesar, right? And the Brutus and, like, you know, Anthony and all the rest of it. It's so overdone. But that's not really why that's not my favourite. I've actually read Caesar's commentaries maybe a dozen times or something. I'm a fan of Caesar, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm a fan of that era, and I'm a fan of Cicero. I've read about Cicero a lot. So it's probably one of my most knowledgeable periods. But it's everything that happens after that. Everything that happens after that starts to sow the seeds of the decline. I mean, honestly, if I take a step backwards, the decline started way back with Sulla. I mean, 100%. Because he demonstrated that you could basically march into Rome and do what the hell you wanted, right? If you had an army behind you. That started the rot. But it was like you really started to see it after Caesar, after Augustus. You started to see human personality come into play. And it was just rot after rot after rot. Now, granted, there were some great emperors and there were some good times. There were some dark times, some bad times. I think it's that period. I think it's the early imperial period is what I like. That's my answer. What do you mean, how much you get wrong? What are we talking about there, Noble? How much we get wrong? Like as humans? And honestly, so here's one of the deals about me and Rome. I actually really, I like the Republic. And I like the Carthaginian Wars. And I really like the upheaval of, honestly, everything that happened from Sulla through to Caesar. I really like that period. And for different reasons. The Augustus period is almost, I don't want to say boring. There was a lot going on. But it was almost one of those, if you keep doing this, everything's going to be golden, right? It's where the rot then starts to set in after. It's where it really starts, the cancer sets in. But it's, one thing I love about the Romans is how different they were than so many other people, so many other empires or countries of the time. They were unique. They were unique. And this is one reason, the later we go on in the Roman Empire, the more they started to blend with everyone else, you know? They stopped having military reforms. They started to look like everyone else. They started to fight like everyone else. They stopped having the manpower that the earlier days had. Everything that made them distinct starts to disappear as time goes on. And even their tactics, everything just starts to blend in with everyone else. And honestly, towards the late period of the Roman Empire, I'm actually, honestly, completely unlearned on it and not a fan. I'm just not a fan. They don't even look interesting anymore to me. You take that middle sweet spot. They were unique in every ways. Their military forms, their tactics, the way they ran their empire, just the way they looked on the battlefield, everything about them, their equipment. Okay, granted, they were inspired with their equipment from everyone else, and they took it, they made it their own. But you know what I'm saying? It's like you look at them and you go, well, crap, these guys are not like anyone else, and I love that about them. Love it. Then you get to, I don't know, 600 or even earlier, and it's like, are you Roman? Alright, anyway, back to the map. That's why the nobles are here. Alright, so this is going to be our scale. If this is our scale, then those buildings are about right. Those little tiny ones, we'll do... They're sheds. Or they're little houses, okay? We might have some around that size on the outside. Around the outside. But I think that's going to do it. If that does it, then... Our river is a good size. Our river is about 500 feet across. I think it's not bad. That's a significant river. We'll get rid of you. You know what we should actually do? I'm going to keep them. We're going to use those as reference later on. Alright. That is going to bug me. Let's just correct that. There we go. Okay. Roads. Let's do some roads. Now we know our scale. Whoa, not that one. You know, I'll keep that. We might need to come back to that. Let's take a look at roads and let's decide where we're going to put them. They definitely, I mean, there was a lot, they always, so one of the strengths about the Romans, one of the strengths that I love about them is they did assimilate conquered people, but that was a strength of theirs for the longest time, because like they were the only ones that did it. So, you know, they take over Gaul, and they get the tribes to actually ally, and they actually say, you've got to give us, 50,000 men, and they make them auxiliaries. Then they post them to completely different countries, so they can't actually, rebel for their own country. And they post them over to Egypt or whatever. And that has now become manpower for the Roman army, right? It was kind of ingenious. It was beautiful. But the difference is they started, and they did it fairly early on, but they started granting Roman status to a broader and broader area and a bigger and bigger catch net. They started really diluting what it meant to be about Roman. Be a Roman. But then they also started inviting, in the later periods when the manpower was really going down there, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But, they're inviting tribes into Roman lands to settle. It becomes a bargaining chip. Hey, come fight for us, protect our northern border. You can have land over here, and we'll make you Roman. And it just diluted everything about it. And now you got these, basically, these, I mean, it's going to sound, I need to be careful about my words, but basically, you know, you've just invited 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, half a million people into your empire and given them land in your empire. Is that really your land anymore? You know? And over time, they stopped. I think they just diluted. They diluted a lot. And you know what I mean. All right, let's just roughly map this out. So I'm thinking about roads should always be kind of. Well, that's actually not a good brush. Let's do this. What if? And I think we're going to make these roads a little bit more curvy. What if we are inspired by dwarves? I have a question for you. Is there a main thoroughfare? Is there like a triumphal march? Is there a road that almost dissects the city or goes right through to the palace? Do you see any major... What would the word be? It's not plaza. A major... road? What do they call them? Is there anything like that? Exactly, Dash. You get it. You get it. There's no reason why not to, by the way, take some inspiration from these roads that are already here. And if we turn off this, basically what I'm doing is I am marking out areas where either side of them we draw our buildings. So I kind of use this method, like literally just, it's almost like pencil strokes, to mark off districts of where buildings are going to be. No, I don't like that. Let's do this. There we go. Thoroughfare. Thoroughfare is not a bad word. Thoroughfare. Actually, Das, what is your favourite period of Roman history, if you have one? The original main road, says Saltgood, would have been from the harbour to the keep. Yeah, that makes sense. And we've kind of got a little bit of that going on. But, where's my sketch? I wanted to do a harbour, like, around here. Maybe we'll do a harbour here. Maybe we'll actually do the original harbour here. I've actually got a sketch for that. So, let's make that like almost one of the first roads that this place ever had. I don't want to do another road right here, right next to this one. A bridge next to a bridge. I know that could be an interesting illustration. A footbridge with carts trundling across it, with this fortified outer wall and chain apparatus. So what if we did another bridge right there? Punic. Punic's not a bad period. Punic Wars are actually fascinating. Fascinating. Newer roads would go for focus on marketplaces. Well, this is a marketplace right here. Yeah, we're definitely doing that. We're definitely doing that. I didn't actually draw a gatehouse there, did I? Well, we will. We will. Let's actually turn that off for a moment. When this city was first founded, I think maybe they had a pretty major gate right there. Maybe they came up here. Maybe originally their first marketplace was kind of like here-ish. And then when the city kind of matured, and they had like an exit gate here. And this led to a nexus of roads. Here. I think this is where we're going to put the market. So originally they were kind of like the roads all met here and then went splitting off in the different directions. Now this is where the main market's at. We'll draw that loosely in. What if it was something like that? That puts our harbour down here. This is the first harbour. Yeah, no, exactly. If you can see it, like exactly that, a whole bunch of merchants, if you're seeing that in your head, this is already working. This is already working. Then this was originally the road that came out of the city. Maybe this was the old bridge that first left. Maybe this is a newer road right here. I don't like that these are following a very similar shape. I'm going to change this shape. And we're definitely going to have some like industry or something here, which means that there would be something that comes down here. You know what, not like that though. I want to actually get buildings either side of that, and maybe this even then goes off down the coast. So this came You know what I think we're going to do here, though, is this. It's more like this. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Let's actually change this. These roads are too close together in a way, so this is actually serving a different function. This is going down the coast that way. This is heading off this direction. These are pretty major roads right here. Then this one, let's keep that away there. Let's make this interesting looking. What if that kind of like, you know, is going around some hills? This one. I might delete some roads, we'll see. We'll see. But maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay. Maybe we want to hint at this one kind of coming over this way a little bit. Well, no, because it would have just... Well, you know what? No. No, let's do that. Let's take that back. I think that we're going to put a big hill here. That's why they're not leading any roads out of there. That would be our main road system. Something like that. Gonna hit save. Let's mark out hills. It's meant to be a rocky area around there, so it's meant to have a lot of hills going on. And we're going to do something similar with the opacity of them. Alright. So what if... Well, okay, actually the first one is... This is on a hill. I actually want to do this in a different colour, hold on. This is on a hill. Not like that though. Actually, hold on. Because remember, those are going to be the gardens. Those are going to be like elven gardens. So I want to give it a good bit of land. This is going to be like out like this, right here. So this is like the original fortification right there. So that... And maybe then... What if... No, not there. I feel like this. Alright, nobles. How hilly is this area really? It was described as Santorini-like. That doesn't really help. If you've seen Santorini, you'll know what I'm saying. I mean, are we talking about a lot of hills? Are we talking about a few hills? What are we talking about here? See, I don't want to do that outside. Oh, it was Athens. I was going to say, I was recently studying a city, an ancient city, where the actual hills came into the city proper, and it was Athens. I don't know, I feel like I want to put a lighthouse on a hill. Miss Jade, maybe the old and new roads connect on the east side of the river. Yeah, okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. To be worked. Right, Miss J, this is kind of what I'm shooting for. Now, keeping in mind that all of these are not going to be drawn literally this way. We're going to use our hill style for this. And then we're going to cover a lot of these with rolling slums and stuff and small buildings. So a lot of these hills are going to actually be really shown through our colour and our shadows. I guess that's what I'm saying. But I'm trying to get the placement of them. So good. So I like the keep having what's probably a small cliff face on the northwest side. Exactly. Defensive structure. Original history of it, right? Alright. The keep was built on the hill, overlooking the river. Next to the river, they built a harbour. Everything thrived. They threw up a curtain wall to protect the thriving town come city, and things really boomed. When they went beyond that, they started to spill out over the hills and the nearby area. They threw up a curtain wall beyond that hit the main hills around. I could dig it. And maybe we'll even take this tower and we'll make it larger. Maybe you'll like occupy this hilltop here. And maybe the same here. Maybe the same here. They could be named towers. Okay. 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 This could generally work, I think, for elevation. So what do I want to do next with this? Let's actually just throttle it back a bit on the opacity so it's not too much on the eye. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to check the size of our towers. Let's rename that to scale. Let's make sure we're happy with our tower size. If it's not, we'll change them. Well, that makes that tower about 70 feet wide. 70 feet for a tower doesn't seem like it's too narrow. That's a pretty big tower. And that gate is probably about 40 feet each tower. I think I've seen enough castles in my time to say, yeah, that's actually not a bad size. That's a pretty Those are pretty stout towers right there. They're not insignificant. So we've got 2 bridges going across. We can always add minor ones as well. Those are our major ones. We've got our major roads done. There'll be lots of minor ones done as well. It's going to be an interesting map. It's going to be an interesting map. So what do I want to capture next? Oh, harbours. Let's get our harbours drawn in. That's what I want to do next. And then we can get in some minor roads and things too. Okay. Let's change our colour. To what, my lord? Oh, blue. Alright. So our first harbour is kind of drawn here. And I think we'll make sure we get, like, obviously some of the regular piers and all of that sort of jazz. Yada yada yada. Well, we'll check the size of those in a moment. Then they actually built one further out as well. So maybe that becomes here, which means there will be some buildings here. And main road sort of connecting through, and likely following the coast. So, I was thinking about actually doing another wall there, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. All right, so something like that, and then they ended up going out even further, and so I think we'll capture some along here as well. And the further you get away from the heart of the city, maybe the less significant they are. Then we're going to actually do, I think we're going to do like a little kind of industrial area right here, I'm thinking. Again, we'll check the lengths of those. Some dude is going to put his little boat here. Okay, and then that's going to mean that there are some pretty major buildings around this too. Right here. Okay. And there's going to be some minor docks. There's definitely going to be some minor ones out here too. Which we could worry about almost now, because I'm thinking that has the right field. So back to the scale bar. Oops. Back to the scale bar. Let's try that again. That means that like that kind of dock there is about 80 feet out into the water, 70, 80 feet. Okay. I think those are about our size. It would look something like this. That, I think, is our layout. Okay. Ink. What size have we got going here? Too large. What was I doing? 20? Let's try 20. I want to get the breakwater on here somehow too. So I know in terms of one portion of the harbour there's a private dock inlet that's been dug into the city just a bit. Well, you definitely had one here. Is that what you're referring to? I was actually planning on having maybe a couple of them, but we could absolutely go with the spirit of that, like, right now. This is gonna look good. This is gonna look good. I was planning on giving you a multiple so good, but I'll make sure that this one that's like a named one has personality. Like has a lot of personality. You can imagine yourself walking down that area. I'm taking a level of inspiration actually from London docks in the 1920s because I had to look into it for Call of Cthulhu, and I know it just had such an interesting shape of industry and docks and wharfs and piers and like dry docks and things like that. And I kind of want to inspire that. Oh, you took inspiration from it? Okay, that's cool. We're in alignment. It's perfect. I've a feeling of higgledy-piggledy growth and things been added over time. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, you see this picture behind me over here? This is actually one of the pictures that Noble Dwarf sent to me. But there's going to be buildings like this there. And they sent me some really cool looking ones that we're definitely going to be adding. Alright, main docks. Main docks. The crane in the protected dock, it is the old crane from Gdansk. Oops. Let's do this. I think that has the right feel. This is going to feel good. This is going to feel good. It's going to be a nice city. Oh, okay. Gdansk is... Oh, this building. I love this building. This is an incredible building. We're going to draw this. What an incredible building. I'd never actually seen this building before you shared it with me. What incredible, incredible architecture. We're going to draw that. You're going to tell me where we're going to draw it, and then we're going to draw it. Miss J, you and me both, girl. You and me both. I'm feeling an inlet right here. Feeling an inlet. Alright, group trip it is. Tax purposes it is. We're going for research. Let's do it. Princess Strecker, you're good, girl. You're good. I'm going to be going for another 15-20 minutes, so you're fine. In fact, let me zoom out. Let me show you where we're at. Everything you see that's fairly pale there is consider it pencil. We mapped out our major roads and major hills. And I'm currently drawing in the detail of our coastline. That's what we're doing. Miss J says, what about an inlet that turns part of the bank into an island with a big dockyard pond behind? Yeah, I like it. I like it. Maybe we'll do that in the industrial area. That sounds industrial, you know? Miss J, another name change. She says it's the last one now. Not quite sure, Princess, why you keep changing your name. It's like you get us used to what to call you and then you change it. You'll always be princess to me. You can change the second part anytime you like. You'll always be princess. Feels too light now. Let's do that. There we go. Alright, this is beginning to have a little bit of personality. Big Dwarven Earthworks. Yeah, I think we're going to have lots of that. I actually, you know, I should have made this be like a Vauban Fortress one, but hey, we're not there. What am I doing? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm quite doing here, but let's continue it. I visited a old English harbour fishing village many years ago, and they had these wonderful little slipways, I'm going to call them. These ramps or these steps going down into the water where they would just have small fishing boats. Not big ships, small little rowboats, you know? And so I like to add them to my map now. Just these little areas where people go down there. Not big huge boats, just people making their way in the world. Alright, let's do Miss J's suggestion. Like, let's make it big. I'm gonna expand on that. We're gonna do a water-powered thing, like a tidal thing. Tidal mill or something they call it, I think, there. Boss still not working? Well, look, I haven't done anything about boss, okay? I don't know what to tell you. There's your boss. Actually, hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Das. Let me show you Miss J's maps. Let me just bring up Instagram. And let's look up Miss J. And yes, you're gonna definitely want to like check her out. Absolutely. These are her modern ones, but before we look at her modern ones, which are absolutely exceptional, let me show you this. It's extremely beautiful, and like I'm looking at this on desktop, so. But no, this is a good looking map. In fact, I might not be able to even zoom in any closer than that. It's great. It's a brilliant map. Yeah, it looks like I can't actually click any closer than that. So you get the idea. Get yourself an Instagram there and check her out. Well, this is why I said, that I would partner with Miss J to get your maps done. Feel free to go directly to Miss J and just work with her, and she will get your maps done this year. But that's why I wanted to show you her maps. You will be very pleased with the results. What Miss J and I have been talking about doing and endeavouring to do is forming a more formal partnership where we literally work on maps at the same time. But feel free to work with her directly. Not that you need my permission or anything. A noble dwarf, her colour choices and style is actually quite beautiful. And maybe even someone for you to sort of consider having on your site if she was willing. Right, what was this title thing? I forget now. I'm gonna actually look it up real quick. Are you off, Miss J? Okay, night. Oh, no, Das Moose. Alright, good night, Das. Here it is. Alright, let's do something like that. Yeah, like here. And Princess, I'm not quite sure what Jack's doing, but it smells like some kind of Thai curry type thing. Oh, keto chicken curry stew. Well, there you go, very fancy pants. Right, we're going to draw a tidal water mill there for the industrial area. You've never had curry? There's different types. They're all great. I love them. I'm telling you now, if you had smell-o-vision, you would be salivating. It's smelling really good. Curry is one of those meals that if I had to pick like a cuisine type to have for the rest of my life, I think curry would be high on the list. Indian food would actually be high on the list. Top 3 for me. Right, I think we could actually take this as an opportunity to straighten out some of this. We're definitely going to put our bridge there. Maybe we draw a bridge now. Yeah, let's draw a bridge now. Yeah, that's fine. Mr. Fowler. Okay, right on. Is this a high arch bridge or a lifting one? I'm thinking, not lifting. I know, I wasn't planning on lifting. I mean, I know it's a dwarven city, but I guess that's for the dwarves to decide. The dwarves can tell me what it is. It's either 2 high arches, so generally high in general, or generally high in general. What the frick? I don't know. If they tell me actually there's some kind of lifting mechanism, then we're actually going to draw some towers for lifting. I will leave that to the dwarves. Who am I to encroach on their IP? Let's draw the other bridge. Let's do it. So what width have I just drawn there? What is the width of that bridge? 40 feet wide? 40 feet wide. Feels like a decent width, but let's make it wider. Oops. Let's make it wider. Miss J, are you like the atypical Australian that we see on TV where you're like 5 hours from civilization and you have to get in a land train to go shopping? Or is it more civilized than that? Got an idea percolating in my head. No, I'm not going to do it this way. I'm thinking it'd be kind of neat to have an underground waterway coming up to the Royal Palace or underneath the Royal Palace. But then I think this tower here would be the guardian of it. So that means that the waterway would actually be right underneath. So nothing to draw. Alright, so 10 minutes down the road. Ah, that's even closer than mine. You're basically civilized over there. So good. In terms of bridges, the closest to the river mouth can be lifting one that's basically newly built, while the further up the river can be double arches. Okay, there's your answer, Miss J. I've heard Lock and Key's good. No, but you can have your cake and you can eat it. That's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I think this has a good feel. I think this has a good feel for something that has grown organically, but is actually pretty well established and is feeling a bit industrial. I think I'm okay with this. David P. Glass. Oh, David. Yeah, David P. Glass. That makes me laugh, man. Alright, let's just do a little one right here. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do a little one right here too. And we're going to do some dude that has got a little farming, a little fishing thing going on. He's just minding his own business and he's got his little wooden pier. He's like, don't mind me. I'm just catching fish. Alright, so we need to do a lifting mechanism on this thing. Okay. Okay. How do I want to do this? Misty says, I really like the look of the docks everywhere. Watching you start this map is making me want to do another city map. Well, get on it, girl! Go draw one for that Brian guy, Das Machine! Although the first one's not going to have much by way of docks, is it? From what we've seen thus far. No, but seriously, I got stuff. I got stuff. And you should just draw one. Throw it on Noble Dwarf over here. They'll do canvas versions of your map. They take it to conventions and stuff. And it'll look beautiful. I love the beginning part of a city map, actually. This is where you and I could actually partner a lot. You know, I draw part, you draw part, we kick it back and forth. Yeah, okay, so what I'm thinking about doing here. Oh, Princess, I bet you're right on the boss fights. I bet you're right on the boss fights. In fact, do any of us? Jack, will you give Princess some gold? Because she's changed her name, she lost everything. Give her like 2 grand. I asked you yesterday, but you weren't really around in the chat. No, that's too big. That's too big. If we're doing lifting bridge, I need to really rethink this a little bit. What ships to be able to come through unimpeded? We'll do roof detail and everything in a moment. Hot potato. Right, hot potato city map. Right. Oh, no communication? Oh, that would be a cool project. I would do that with you. That would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool. No, I don't like that. Let's get rid of that. But that's the type of thing I was thinking about too, you know? Like, what if I drew part of the city outline like this and kicked it too and said, go? And you just draw whatever you want now. And we just kick it, then kick it back. Say, okay, I'm going to bed. Your next shift. Okay, I'm on it. You gotta make them longer. What was that? What's that? I love that one. We need that to be 3 times longer. What do we... Time check. Time check. Yeah, I'm probably going for another 5 minutes. Half an hour each every day that you stream. At least half an hour. I'll do half an hour every day. I could be down with that. And it's a kick it back. Right, that bridge feels pretty industrial. That bridge feels like something's going on with it. That bridge makes people go, what am I looking at? I think that's pretty good. Alright, let's take a step backwards. I'm going to hit save. Yeah, Princess, I love the fact that you were very cognizant of the time that you were making them. And 3 seconds actually sounded good, but when you actually play 3 seconds, they're actually quite short, aren't they? I think we could at least get away with 6 to 8, maybe? Be willing to experiment with them. Like, that one just gets going, and it's gone. I think that one could be longer. 2 hours a week, it would take all year, but it'd be a lot of fun. That'd be kind of cool, actually. That would be kind of cool. And I bet our tree style could be actually complementary, depending on how we applied it. It's not going to fall down. It's definitely not going to fall down. Alright. I think that might be a reasonable point to pause the stream. But let's just do a little bit of cleanup. In fact, we could actually... clean. Done. Right there. Yeah, we don't need those harbors. We don't need those stinking harbors. Got rid of one sketch layer. I think this is the direction we're going in. I am going to make this larger here. And I am going to make this a larger fortification here too. But we'll come back to that. Here, here, and here. Like 3 hills. Boom, boom, boom. With a wall stretching between them. And major fortifications on each. Just because dwarves. And maybe we'll even do a mini Vauban type of, like, you know, fortification in front of each one or something. Just to make them ominous. Sounds good, Princess. Thank you. Beacons. Beacons. Gunda calls for aid. Right, no, I think we could get like carried away. Like we've got major fortification, fortification. It'd be kind of cool. I think might do some inner walls. We'll see. So this area is kind of broken up into districts a little bit. But I will decide on that. I'll percolate on it. Noble. Honestly, having the noble dwarves here while I'm working on this is the first time I've ever had a client participate and watch. And I know that you guys can't be here all of the time. And I get that and it's cool. But when you are here working on your map, it's kind of cool, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's really neat. It's really neat. I'm having fun with it. So, I'm gonna end it there. This is taking shape. Lightharbor for Noble Dwarf. This is taking shape. I think tomorrow, we're back tomorrow. I think I'm gonna actually draw the breakwater. I think we're gonna work on that a little bit. And I'm going to put the breakwater, I think, here. This tidal mill, I don't think I'm going to have next to the breakwater. I think I want the tidal mill to actually be, you know, have a clear sight. But I'm thinking something like this. We'll draw that tomorrow. We're going to start drawing buildings tomorrow. We're actually going to jump into this. We're going to start. I don't know where we're going to start, but I'm thinking right in the marketplace area. We're going to peg out the marketplace. We're going to get it size dialed in. We're going to draw a big, huge beacon of a lighthouse right in the middle of it. And we're going to draw tents around the outside edge. That's what we're going to do. And yeah, Gary Khan. Very much looking forward to Gary Khan. Noble's going to be there too. Princess, one day. One day. Gary Khan is going to be awesome. Actually, both of you being there, I am looking forward to meeting Noble. I am looking forward to meeting Mr. Val. I am looking forward to meeting anyone that is my friends out there. That's why I go to conventions. And it's going to be... Noble, I'm going to warn both of you right now. I'm going to hug the heck out of both of you. Watch out for it. Big hug time. With that said... We're stopping here for the night. We've made great progress. It's actually just gained huge personality. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, sometime in the morning, Australian time. Let's come back. Let's start drawing buildings on this bad boy. Let's make this thing sing. Starting tomorrow. Love you all. It's going to be a good one. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really mean that. I do. Look, I'm getting a little bit like shy now. Alright. I'll see you all tomorrow, okay? We're going to keep on working this one. See you tomorrow.